Greetings, everyone, and welcome to GameCola's The End Day celebration. In case you've missed it the last couple of years, today is, in fact, the End Day, according to Crystalis lore.
Or Crystalis, depending on your regional accent.
Yes, very true. As you may notice, I have called here Nathaniel Hoover and Matt Jonas to officiate the Crystalis...
Whoa, okay, hang on a second. Epilepsy alert.
Oh, yeah, sorry, everybody. Warning, you may want to watch out. You may want to consult your Nintendo handbook before turning on the console.
You know, there's a lot of guys coming out the cave right now.
It's true.
I love it. So we totally skipped the intro, and I think one or two of us kind of skipped ahead a little bit. There's definitely a split second or a half second advantage for a couple of these people. But the premise of this game, if nobody's ever played it before, which is the idea behind this, we have 6 staff members from gaming outside the mainstream website, GameCola.net, who have never played Crystalis, and it has become our yearly tradition to play this wonderful NES RPG classic, a little bit of a cult classic, and in part because the introduction talks about October 1st, 1997, the end day, basically the day when the apocalypse happened, and this is post-apocalyptic world, full of monsters and magic.
Oh, good.
Oh, wait,
I'm watching the column with what? I'm sorry, I'm talking over you.
I wasn't paying attention, sorry. I think that Dan Castro already has the Sword of Wind.
I smell cheating. He's got some money as well. How'd he do that?
I'm watching the middle column. I've got my eyes on Mark Freedman, who does our Q&A columns nowadays, organizes all of our staff responses for various questions people ask, and Joseph Martin on the bottom in the center, who does all of these lovely reviews from time to time, occasional assorted things around the site, participates in videos and whatnot, podcasts.
I have the column with the difficult to pronounce names that I'm not going to pronounce because I'll pronounce them wrong and I'll upset the staff members. But Anna and Robyn, I'm watching their screens at the moment.
Yes, 2 GameCola staff writers.
And bravo to Joe, who is already out in the fields killing things, making the world a better place.
Yeah.
Robyn's already at the cave.
Oh, you can see in my column over on the right, I have 2 GameCola staff members, current GameCola staff member Dan Castro and former GameCola staff member Paul Franzen. You may recall Paul as being Editor-in-Chief in the pre-2013 era, but currently we've allowed him back to take part in events like this as GameCola's Editor-Emeritus. And currently it looks like he does not know what he is doing, so there's that.
And maybe that's the draw, I'm not sure yet.
Yes. Yes, and I have Dan Castro, the staff writer and, how do you say it, head of the column? What do you say for a column writer?
I think dude is the word.
Dude? Well, okay, Dan Castro is the dude who runs Localization Anxiety as of late, bringing you games that were never actually brought to North America, or games that had very strange localizations, as in the case of Nintendo World Cup, which apparently was supposed to be a River City Ransom spin-off, but makes no mention of that in the actual North American release.
Remind me to never hire Joe to look over my windmill, because apparently a regular workday for him is just stabbing machines until they work.
And was it working? Did it help?
No, it didn't! Although I swear that the sword is the proper size for the keyhole, so you should just be able to stick it in and turn it and make it work. And we have our first deaths of the game.
2 deaths at the same time. But Paul seems...
I'm pretty sure Robyn's already died once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not my column, so I can't be responsible for the things that happen there.
Yeah, Paul just died, except that Paul is now CC1CCB.
It's a good name.
That's the combination on my luggage.
I'm going to have to change it.
Change it now, yeah.
Paul apparently did not realize that you could just select continue.
Oops.
And restarted the game entirely. So Paul, off to a great start.
One of the things that probably would have been helpful is, I don't know if we... when we were talking about setting up this project together, I know I circulated the instruction manual to people probably after half of them recorded the game, but this is a game that is not really friendly to just pick up and play. This is something that you kind of need to have an understanding of just the basics of. Like, saving is not intuitive at all, but Joe's got it down.
Not only is the saving really confusing, but I think the inventory system is really confusing as well.
No matter how many times I play the game, I can never remember what button to press to get into what menu.
Well, yeah, it's the basic buttons. Once you know which buttons map to where, and yes, it is different from most other games, then, I don't know, the menu system's pretty easy to navigate because you've got all of your equipment that's either you're wearing it or you're not on the first page, and then you've got all of your one-use items on the second page, and then some of the other things that you just equip and forget about forever, like the gas mask.
You make it sound simple now.
Well, I've also been playing this game since I was a wee tot, so it sort of comes naturally to me now. I don't need to think about it, so I've sort of lost my objective filter on this game. Which is why, well, not the fact that I've lost my objective filter isn't why I'm excited, but I'm really excited to see this. I opened up this video and took a look at it, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing, because this is a game that was one of my first 3 ever video games that I owned, alongside Super Mario Brothers and Gradius. And my father and I used to play this, and we got up to the vampire boss at the end of the first cave there, and just could never beat him. And eventually I started cheating with Game Genie, and then the game got a whole lot better. But this game has a lot of memories for me, in addition to the fact that to celebrate the end of the world on October 1st every year, I've been replaying through this version, or more recently, the Game Boy Color version.
Is that as good or better, or...?
It is different, generally not as good. There's a couple parts that are as good, if not better, but by and large, it's the inferior version, but definitely worth playing if you're a fan. It's got a lot of changes, a lot of graphical updates, a couple of plot story challenge updates, and different music altogether, which most people don't like, but when you're not...
this music now is pretty catchy.
By the way, whose audio are we using here?
We are using Dan Castro's.
And why is he so special?
Because he's in the upper right.
He's right, and he's on top.
It's true.
That's as good a reason as any.
So has anyone leveled up? Has anyone made any significant progress? I see a lot of people talking to the sleeping guy, stabbing the sleeping guy in the case of Joseph Martin.
Seriously, who needs a flute when you can just poke him with a sword? Get up!
Oh, spoilers! Don't tell anyone who's on here what to do.
Wait. You used the flute to wake him up.
Two people just leveled up at the same time, man.
Now I feel so stupid.
Well, that's another one of the things that the instruction manual is really useful for, because you look at alarm flute, and it doesn't really tell, like, maybe alarm clock, alarm flute, where sort of like sword and sorcery, people use flutes to wake them up, but, I don't know, but...
Can I just point out for a second that Robyn leveled up and is already through the windmill cave? Or in...
That is pretty spectacular.
Yes. So, sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying that that's another one of the things that the instruction manual is useful for, because I believe it does specify wakes up sleeping people, or something to that effect.
This was back when the manuals used to matter. Now with Wii U games, they're like one piece of paper with... The manual can be found by pressing the home button.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no physical manual anymore. I miss that. I honestly do miss that.
So Joe is trying to use his machine operating sword to operate an ice wall now. Surely there's got to be something I can do with this sword. Can't operate machines, can't melt ice walls. Oh, it's useless.
It's the stab everything rule.
I had a lot of people actually complain about that. He says use your power to open the wall.
Yes, that is confusing, and I wonder if that's a translation thing? Well, you've played the Japanese version, haven't you, Jeddy?
A bit. I don't remember exactly what he says there. For the most part, though, it is a pretty faithful translation to what they originally said. However, I mean, he is accurate in a sense that eventually you use your power to open the wall.
But it does seem like right then and there you should be able to do something with it.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Someone's poisoned.
Oh, who?
Robyn.
Oh, yeah,
apparently.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the only place where they have poisoning things.
The life is just going down. You're not going to do anything about it. What can you do about it?
Antidote?
There's an antidote herb that you can either pick up in dungeons or buy. And then you can also... Actually, staying at an inn doesn't do it. There's magic eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's magic eventually.
If it runs you down, can you die from the poison?
Yes.
Oh dear.
As
There we go.
Good.
That's awful. Like, at least in games like Minecraft, if you're poisoned, you go down to half a heart and then it runs out.
Well, that's pretty standard for RPGs. I mean, at best, anyone that I can think of stops you at 1 health and doesn't actually kill you with poison. Now, this game is serious about its status ailments. I'm always still years and years of playing this game, and I'm still terrified anytime I go in to get the Sword of Water and have to face all of those Medusa-type monsters that can turn to stone.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Is it pretty scary? Do you get turned to stone and that's it? You can't move?
Yeah.
Forever?
Yeah, that's pretty much, unless you have a spell, an item that allows you to come out of it.
Well, I thought,
That's
a fruit
dark.
of lime, or the other magic spell that refresh. No, refresh is the healing. Why am I failing at this? Help! What's the other one, Jeddy?
Wait, fruit of lime,
Recover.
fruit of raccoon? Wait, oh, recover?
No, that's for the monster. That's if you get turned into the monster.
Yeah,
No, the fruit of lime.
Okay, yeah.
So anyhow, but I don't remember, because I tend not to like to get turned to stone, but I think there's a certain time where, like, if you just don't recover yourself after a certain amount of time, or if you don't have any way of recovering yourself, it just says game over. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, but I could be making this up.
That is dark.
I think that it does go away naturally if you wait literally like a full minute. It's just that usually if you are usually if you got it cast on you, they're in the area somewhere. So you're probably gonna die, like it's pretty much guaranteed.
Okay, well maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Either way, still terrifying to me.
What are we killing in the field there? I see some of slimes, but what are those?
Those are
Tiger
sort of tiger bear enemies. The idea is that some sort of terrible war, nuclear war, destroyed most of the population, and Paul Franzen along with it.
Yes, apparently.
And it's sort of a delayed reaction to the destruction, years earlier. And it mutated all of the plants and plants and animals into terrible monsters.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually the plot.
Yeah. I mean,
it's incredibly deep. That's awesomely deep.
For an NES game, yeah.
Yeah, for an NES game, that's incredibly deep. I mean, the story in most games at this point was shoot ducks.
Right. Practically every game. It's like Super
practically
Mario.
every game. DuckTales, Duck Hunt, Marble Duckness, they were all the same.
Marble Duckness.
Duck Rattle and Roll.
Get Duckerous.
Duck Racer.
Excite Duck. I think we'll stop there.
That's not as funny as the laugh made it sound like it should have been.
I liked it. I'd play Excite Duck. So where is everyone? Because I've got Dan Castro is at level 2. I don't think Dan has completed the windmill quest yet, though. Paul...
Robyn is in a cave.
Yeah, I think
a big cave.
Robyn is exploring the cave open by finishing the windmill quest.
Ouch. It just dawned on me, I know we talked about this before, that Paul's putting himself at a severe disadvantage because he is pressing new game instead of continue, so not only is he physically starting back from the beginning, but he's not taking advantage of any of the experience or gold that carries over.
Yeah, he's level 1.
Oh, that is very sad.
Oh, weird. So I guess that the guy up there doesn't appear until you talk to somebody about it?
Yes, that's right. I believe you have to talk to Zebu...
Depending on who's on dialect.
That's why I couldn't find the guy.
Yeah, the very first section of the game, again, needing to have a general idea of what you're doing. Oh, now Anna has gone to the same technical institute that Joe went to.
Stab.
Windmills.
When I tried this, I stabbed it too. I mean, come on, it's a windmill. Your sword is the sword of wind. Of course you're going to try stabbing.
Well, that's the thing. The very first part of this game really is not all that intuitive. There's a pretty steep learning curve to get into it, I would say.
Dan is now catching up, clearing the windmill quest, heading over to the cave now.
Robyn used the warp boots by mistake, which takes you back to town.
Oh, I thought you said the walk boots. I'm like, aren't you always wearing walk boots?
Rabbit boots, let you jump.
Those are the best. So, the idea here, right, is that we took 6 people who've never played Crystalis, and we just dumped them into it, and we're racing to somewhere?
Yes, we're trying to get Akahana's statue, the Onyx statue, which, for those of you who do know about Crystalis, it is somewhat of a notorious, horrible quest of the NES era that he basically just says, go find it, and there is no real hints whatsoever as to where it is.
That's true. Once again, the learning curve on this game is pretty sharp. After that, though, things start to make a lot more sense. They're a lot more intuitive, but just getting into it.
Yeah.
I keep realizing how good the music is.
It is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Has anyone bought armor yet? I'm not seeing many armor.
I saw someone with a tanned hide.
Yeah.
I think that might have been Robyn.
Oh, and Anna has a shield, which would be great, except in this game, and I like this system, armor reduces the damage that you take from enemies, and then if your armor rating is high enough, I'm sorry, like from physical contact, it reduces the damage from that, and if you're high enough skill rating on that, enemies just bounce off you, they just clang off you and don't do any damage at all, which is awesome.
Oh,
and
wow.
shields reduce the damage you take from projectiles, but the problem with that is it's
well, these
$80.
enemies, there's no projectiles.
Yeah, it's $80 for a shield that you don't need to use until you can go to the town where you can get this shield for cheaper.
Dan...
This game just feels like beginner's trap, the game.
I've been kind of thinking, well actually it was a topic on the GameCola Facebook recently, was were games back in the day actually better or not? And people did have some interesting comments that back then you had a game and that was probably it, you were going to play that game. Whether it was that you had to wait for your parents to buy you another one, or just the games didn't come out as quickly, or that there wasn't as much of a backlog of 30 years of games. So at the time, if you sat there and died like day after day, come home from school, play Crystalis, die, eventually you would work your way through it. Whereas now most people would probably just give up.
Well, as a side note to that, that's part of my argument why Mega Man 2 is... everybody loves it, and they're like, oh, it's the greatest Mega Man game ever, and it's so easy! And that's because everybody played it when they were a lot younger. I mean, now we've got a younger generation of people who are playing this game for the first time, and not, growing up in it as the only game they had in their collection.
Yeah.
But got a bunch of people who played it, played it silly, and sort of forgot about all of those long hours where you just kept failing at the same part over and over again,
But
and then
Mega
got
Man
better
2...
at it, and now it's like, oh, I don't need to think about it, it's so easy. Well, it wasn't the first 70 times you played it.
I think Mega Man 2 is easy, though. I played it for the first time, would have been about 2010, and I didn't really have much trouble with it.
I mean,
Sure,
it depends
I
on your
died a
gaming
couple of
skill and how many
times,
Mega Man games you have under your belt when you go into it, and also a lot of it depends on...
I don't know,
going
it
in the
made
right
a lot of sense to me, like, the sort of order to do bosses in just sort of fell in my lap for me. It's like, well, it probably goes this way, metal is probably good against wood, there was some sense to it.
Yeah, and And that's definitely true. I'm talking about if you do anything other than the ideal order where you get Metal Blade and basically blow up everything with it and then use all the right weapons on the bosses. If you're not doing that, it really does get more than just above average challenging.
You could destroy grey walls.
Yes.
Finally, yes, back to Crystalis anyhow.
Is Robyn still in the lead? It looks like Robyn's still in the lead, getting the wind ball.
The thing what gives you 2 levels of magic.
Yeah. Oh no, it looks like
that's its official name, isn't it? The thing what gives you 2 levels of magic.
Yeah, except they couldn't fit all of that on the NES, so they just shortened it to Ball of Wind.
Do they, on the Game Boy version, did they say Ball of Wind like they did for Sword of Wind? I don't remember.
I think they only said the swords. I think it was just Scourge of Man.
So to get to the second town, do you have to use that wall-destructing power where Zebu was?
No, that's actually the second level of the Sword of Fire, which you don't get for a while yet.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time with the low-level weapons, and then it very quickly gets into all high-level weapons all the time. Even when you pick up the Sword of Water and the Sword of Thunder, it's really not that long until you can power it up to the next level.
Oh.
Ooh, here we go. Got some
Mark
double boss battles going on
Robyn
here.
at the same time.
That's kind of spooky how that lined up.
Oh.
Yep.
But, Mark died, but also I noticed he is level 2, which, as some of you may recall, Crystalis had bosses that required you to be a certain level before you could even damage them.
Yes, which was another high bar to entry when I didn't realize things like this.
That's awful! Why would you do that? Why would... That's not a design feature, that's just being mean.
It works with the overall gameplay mechanics, because same thing like I was talking about before with the armor being particularly high. Low-level enemies with a low offense can't touch you, and so it works both ways. So at least it's fair in that regard, but it's not
How
really.
are you meant to know what level a boss is? They don't come in with a sign saying, you must be level 3 to damage me.
That's one of the rough edges.
How are you meant to know? You could get to a boss battle, you could try playing it over and over and over again, thinking, you know what, I must be damaging this boss eventually, and you're spending 5 days damaging a boss you can't defeat. Because you don't do any damage.
You do get an audible, like, ding 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 ding. Like, it doesn't make the damage.
Oh, right. So there is at least an clue what's going on.
Yeah.
One.
Mark wants to make sure we've seen that game over animation, I think. It is pretty nice.
If only Mark could get to the next level, it would be between Robyn and Mark. Although Dan is catching up, but Dan hasn't made it to the boss yet.
That's okay, because if you're doing a little extra leveling up, that might actually give you a chance against the boss. And there's a lot of good loot in this dungeon.
Well, has anyone been keeping track of Anna? I know that Paul is still... He literally has 4 EXP. He's level 1.
Again.
But Anna is level 2.
I don't think Anna has done the windmill quest yet.
Anna's playing conservatively.
Well, you know, slow and steady wins the race.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to sound horrible.
Dan is revisiting Zebu for some words of wisdom from the wise man.
And you know what? I'm also wondering how people's gameplay... Oh, now Dan's picking up a page from Joe. I like how it's contagious. I wonder how much of people's gameplay is changed from what it might otherwise be because this is supposed to be a race.
That's true.
You know, I'm almost curious to see what it would have been like if people would have taken their time to talk to everybody to really get to understand the game mechanics. You know, if some of the people were struggling with it, might be
when I was trying to play it, I was taking it like a race and not bothering to talk to people. I didn't realize I could get a sword. I went out in the fields twice without a sword.
Yeah, because there's a few things, and I I only have so many eyes, but I haven't been able to keep track of everything that's been going on. But there's the one pupil of Zebu Zebu who's in the town who gives you $100 if you talk to him. You just talk to him and free money. And then there's the armor that most people haven't. Well, actually, it looks like Robyn's got the armor and.
Oh
yeah.
Joe, I think he has the armor.
Looks like Anna might be about to complete the windmill quest.
Excellent.
Oh, windmill key. Oh, can't drop. Yeah, actually, I do like that you could...
Now you've got to press the use button. Hey!
And then, of course, yes, excellent. And of course you've got the refresh magic that I don't remember seeing anybody pick up after completing the windmill challenge. That's sort of huge.
No, a few people have been
I
using
may have
it.
seen Robyn use it.
Yeah, Robyn's definitely used it.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. I do remember seeing that animation somewhere. Again, so many eyes.
But yeah, I was gonna say Anna has the shield, and you can see. Like, I liked for an NES game to actually show what equipment you're wearing, or that you're wearing equipment. I guess it doesn't specify which.
Yeah, but the fact that there is a visual distinction between armor and not armor.
Yeah.
Shield
Yeah,
and not...
I thought that was weird in games where they could have done it, in like 3D PlayStation games. How in Final Fantasy VII you could be wearing blah 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 bracelet and all this stuff, and you wouldn't see it on the character model in the field or in the battle. And I'm thinking, but you're supposedly wearing this stuff and you can't see a difference.
I mean, they will change the look of the weapons that you're wielding in a lot of games, but no, armor usually not.
Although the weapons, but nothing else.
The armor that they decide to give you just looks ridiculous. The best equipment that I found the first time I played through Knights of the Old Republic made my character kind of look like a dork, like huge moon goggles and some sort of silly robe that just did not go well together.
I'm just thinking...
It's true, there is a style issue with that, because in Tekken 6 they'll go, you've got these brand new pants that are plus 20 elemental damage, awesome. But then you wear them and they're like bright orange pants, and they just don't suit the character whatsoever.
I'm just thinking about my time playing Ragnarok Online and all of the silly hats. And that, like, my most powerful, like, get-up... Like, you didn't see equipment, but you would see hats, and I would be wearing, like, an apple with an arrow through it, and then, like, spiral eye goggles, and, like, a leaf in my mouth.
Did you ever wear any of the pouring hats? They were so cute.
I do remember those. I think normally when I was in town, I had like a big cowboy hat that I would wear around.
Oh man, I miss Ragnarok Online. Maybe I'll play it again someday, but...
It's still exactly the same.
One thing that I don't think I mentioned in the playthrough that I did, I really like the fact that there's some terrain that goes waist high, and some monsters can hide inside of it too, and that's also a nice visual difference.
Yeah.
I like that your character also seems to drop a little bit when you're in that.
Yeah, that's an
that stuff. There's like a visible drop.
It is
when you walk into it.
Yeah. Paul, I think, is about to walk into some. And also, can I note that Mark Freedman has been trying to break down that wall for like 2 minutes?
You can, if you can say it.
Think about what you want to say. Make sure you've got it in your head, and then say it.
Well, now Mark Freedman is going back to the cave. So who's in the lead?
I think I'm winning right now.
Oh. Well, I did, just for the record, both Nathaniel and I, on our playthroughs, took about 15 minutes to complete the quest, so we both did win already. Want to be technical.
Yes,
if I continued going at the rate that I was going when I was trying to play this, it would have been about 2 hours before I complete the quest.
If you go at the rate that Paul has been going.
Pretty much that same rate, yeah.
Paul would be ahead a lot more, again, if it were for hitting continue instead of new game.
True.
So if you take nothing away from this playthrough, let it be that.
I think...
Always hit continue.
I think, part of the issue is that Paul isn't on the GameCola staff mailing list anymore. So he never got the memo.
That's true. Did we establish that he's the former editor-in-chief?
Oh yes, Paul Franzen, former editor-in-chief, after I hosted my violent takeover of GameCola HQ back.
Oh, I thought it was just hostile. It became violent? Wow, the stuff I missed.
Well, you literally usurped him from power.
It's true.
How do you figuratively usurp someone from power?
You just...
Stumped me.
I don't know, would that be... Well, would that be like, you know, like a figurehead sort of, running the show? Like you're just a puppet president or whatever? Puppet dictator? But someone behind the scenes is really in charge.
Ooh, we have a double bat boss going on now.
Oh, Dan and Mark.
Yeah. Dan seems to have it down, though.
Oh, success!
Oh, our first defeat of the vampire boss.
Oh, that's so sad. Dan wins and Mark dies.
Well, I think Mark is still level 2. So there's not much to be done.
So can't inflict damage on the boss.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
That's such a weird system.
Nintendo games definitely had their, yeah. Oh, look, Dan is beating up on a...
New things, more things. Or holding them with your sword things.
Oh, he's met Akahana. Dropped in.
In the game's defense, for some of the things that it manages to do a little backwards, especially in the beginning part where it's not so player-friendly, they do give you the guy you need to talk to right at the very front of the town. Like, you can't help but run into him the first time, because you automatically talk to people when you even get close to them.
Yeah, which people might have noticed with the zzz, zzz, zzz. Well, people were trying to talk to the sleeping guy. It's unavoidable trying to avoid talking them.
Oh, yet another death in the boss battle.
I want to reach back into the past and just shout advice from the heavens to some of these people. Like, don't do that!
Dan's going around.
Well, yeah, it looks like it's pretty clear cut from here, doesn't it? Nobody else is even...
being the boss.
Yeah.
Well, it's just they're not high enough level. Robin's the only one right now who's got a shot, because you have to be level 3, as I recall.
True, and I will say, again, it is not shown to you... I think Akahana said something about it's near the river is the only clue that you get as to the location of the statue.
Right.
Yeah, but is it actually near the river, or is it yet another one of these NES red herrings? It's just in a garbage can.
And he just bought a shield for some reason. I don't think wait, he's not even equipped.
No, shield is actually important here.
But he's not even equipped with armor, it doesn't look like. Like, I know he owns armor.
Well, still, shield is more important here because they throw a lot of
the
axes. Yeah, see how much damage? Well,
he doesn't have it equipped, though. Mark is trying to take on the boss again. Oh, so is Robyn.
I like how Anna is refusing to take no for an answer when the little slime monsters are wandering around. Like, no, we don't really want to fight. No, you're going to fight, and I'm going to slay you. Now get back here.
Interestingly, Paul has actually made it to the boss and has the ball of wind, but I'm afraid that Paul is going to die here. Oh!
Robin's beaten the boss.
Nice!
Who's going to win? Because
we have a competitor. Yeah, because now Dan's wandering off into the mountains, which is not where you want to be to get the statue.
Oh, we're coming to an exciting close here as we...
There was a clang there. He can't do damage to any of those enemies.
Yeah, nobody else can right now.
I think Dan took that as a hint and is now following the river. Oh, in the poison pits.
Well, if I was going to drop a statue somewhere, I would drop it in the poison pits.
Actually, that happened in the original Dragon Warrior. You were supposed to get Erdrick's...
Where are you going, Dan?
What was it?
Goodbye, Mark. Oh man,
no.
Mark just gave up.
Mark has given up.
Technical difficulties there. Or just plain giving up.
Either way. Well, I mean, Mark only took on that boss about 12 times.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Blame him for that one.
Oh, and there goes Anna.
Oh
no.
Yeah, Anna had technical difficulties. She mentioned that to me. But, the race is on. Oh, Robyn, heading straight to that river. Well, Dan...
It's close. It's so close.
Dan is currently exploring the poison marshes and dying. So, Robyn has quite a chance here if Robyn could stop attacking the invincible mushroom creature.
Invincible mushroom.
Well, until you have a different sword, they are invincible.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's just hilarious.
Paul was really quick to run after the guy who's like, hey, there's a guy coming out of the cave! Just rushed after him like, I'm so gonna kick your butt.
Paul was actually getting...
I'm curious as to just where this statue is hidden, because it's got to be somewhere
Dan knows where it
completely
is.
obvious.
Dan knows where it is. He got it. He got it.
Dan got it, but can he get back before Robyn... Oh, but Robyn's gonna die in the poison swamp. Oh.
The answer is probably yes. Well, while this exciting adventure is coming to a close, allow us to plug all of our other things that we have. I think Dan Castro is the clear winner. We have 2 flavors of Crystalis playthroughs. Jeddy did one of the NES game, and I did one of the Game Boy Color adaptation on this YouTube channel, gc.net. We also did a Crystalis-themed RPG podcast, which you can find on the YouTube channel as well. And we have a winner.
Yes, your winner. Big rigs over the road racing.